Roll it.
Welcome back. I'm here again with Amy with YMHA. We're here. We wrapped up our last video talking about autism, what it is, some signs to look for. We got into a little bit about how to interact with somebody who's on the spectrum, some things to say. We talked about, kind of, still being a decent human being, right, Amy? And, being respectful. Don't talk down, right? I think that's a big one. So one question at a time.
For all of us to follow.
I think it is. It's a great rule. It's the idea of being a decent person. Forget anything else. Not being uber sensitive, but just be a decent person. So we talked about some of the tricks you gave us were look, when you ask a question, give them a moment to process it. Right. We talked about that with your internal rep system as well. Some people, they need that moment just to sit back, process what you're saying, and then respond. You are one of them. Yes, we know you are.
If you put me on the spot, I choke every time. I can't. If you ask me, okay, go and answer something and expect me to have an immediate response, my brain literally shuts down and freezes, and I can't because I have an internal dialogue. I have to think it through, talk to myself, and my voice is in my head.
Right. Well, look, here's the thing.
I'm crazy because I'm a redhead, anyways.
Well, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's everybody's going to process differently, right? Some people may be able to do it just like that. Some people like yourself or me, we need that extra moment. So it's kind of just, it's whether they're on the spectrum or not.
Yeah.
Understanding those cues.
Treat everyone the same. Treat everybody like that. And then it never makes the difference because it's honestly a good rule for anyone.
Correct. Oh, absolutely. And we talked about the last thing, the big thing, I think, and again, was patience, right? We don't want to overwhelm or overload somebody with questions and talk.
Slow down, like one thing at a time, and wait. So you do have to kind of slow your tempo and kind of time things out.
Right. And for those of you who know, well, right, but here's the thing. And for those of you who know myself or Amy, that we are talkative people. We're very social, but we also tend, at least myself, we tend to talk a little bit faster. Than other people. So for myself, and Amy, I'm sure for you, we've known each other a while, but it's just remembering, slow it down because not everybody's processing and listening as fast as we're talking.
Correct.
So, I think those were some great tips that we had.
It overwhelms people. I mean, I wish, never mind, we won't, but I wish certain people were on this podcast with us right now because honestly, when you are, I'm going to call myself a super communicator here, but I can communicate a lot about a lot of stuff fast and very, let's call it intensely, because I'm going to use my words. It overwhelms normal adult individuals.
Sure. Right.
To an extensive point. So slow down. Use punctuation. Take a breath after a fucking sentence.
Right. And
these are things we should just do anyways.
And I think we can compare it to, right? Like, so, we have a group chat. I'm sure everybody has group chats like we do, and even our own separate chats. But it's like a text message where you don't use punctuation. It's real quick, and you get this what looks like a 40,000 word sentence, a run-on sentence, and there's supposed to be a punctuation. That's kind of how we talk. So we get it.
And think about how that comes off as one long run-in sentence where you're talking really intensely and all this stuff's coming out and it never really ends and it goes on and on forever and like I'm already overwhelmed.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Think about somebody who is on the spectrum, even if it's very mild,
correct,
shutting down, because that's where they're going to go to with that. So it is important.
No, it absolutely is. So Amy, I want to shift our attention just a little bit. We still want to stick on the topic of autism, the spectrum, Asperger's. I know you touched on that as well. Let's talk about, I know you said that you had started, when you started your career and everything, and even some clients that you have today, I believe, right?
Yes.
Or people that you at least know fall on the spectrum. So I want to shift our attention just a little bit to some of the personal experiences and how it's good, bad, and different affected, if at all, your life, how it's maybe changed your views on life and on how to approach life, if it has at all. And look, it may not have, but I want to shift our focus a little bit to that and talk about some of your personal experiences you've been through over the past couple of years.
Absolutely. And I started when I started in fitness 20 years ago. God, I can't believe I'm saying that. Thank God I still look young.
He looks good for 20, doesn't she?
Mom and dad for the genetics.
There you go.
but really, I started with kids. I started with youths, and so I did experience all different kinds of youths with all different kinds of things that were going on.
Mhm.
Yes, some on the spectrum, some with other cognitive disorders and things, some with more rare medical kind of things. So I learned a lot. You just really do. You learn a lot. You just have to jump in, and I think it's important. Yes, you learn. You don't approach it any differently,
Right.
but you do have to slow down just a little bit and listen. It's important to listen and be aware just so you can see, are they doing okay? Are they responding? Are they not? Are they struggling with something? And you don't want to give them everything. You have to challenge them to get through it. If they
Right.
can't, you may have to give them a little bit, but let them work their way through it. They need that engagement, right? Um, and I think feedback, I think giving feedback is always really important because they're so receptive to it. They're always
Okay.
kind of searching for their way and their process and how to perfect it and how to get a little bit better at this or that or whatever. And they're trying to figure things out. They're really problem solving kind of all the time.
Okay.
So giving them really good feedback, I think, is always important. And they're always pretty responsive to it. They're very coachable. And so I've loved that being in athletics and health and nutrition and wellness and mental health now, that coach them up and root them on when they're doing something great or right, acknowledging that they're getting something or doing something wonderful. I mean, honestly, it's just the same shit you and I would go through. We want positive praise and
Mhm.
recognition and respect. We want
Right.
people to listen actively, not listen to just jump in and respond, but we want them to listen and acknowledge what we just spoke about or what we're trying to get to, or whatever it is, in whatever
Right.
capacity our conversation and communication is going. So I really don't think it's any different, honestly, and I don't treat anybody any differently. I'm a tough lover, so you do it just the same. You just kind of slow down just a little bit, depending on what you have. If you have somebody who's like high functioning and they can handle more, throw
Right.
it at them, challenge them, whether it's mentally or physically or things like that, or if it's anywhere in between. See what your boundaries are with things, and that just comes from paying attention to sensory acuity and situational awareness in a way. And just throw stuff out there and see what they come back with, and then give them a little feedback. And it's kind of a great way to go back and forth, and you really build
Sure.
rapport that way, and you build respect and you build trust. And once you have that, you have a great back and forth. I mean, I have a person like recently who has cognitive issues. And now, I've worked with them from childhood into adulthood. And I mean, they come to me all the time asking things simply because they know I'm going to give them some feedback. And how wonderful is that they trust me in that capacity?
Right.
And I've done, some physical work, and I've coached kids that did Special Olympics and things like that. And it's amazing to see these kids get out there and do this stuff, because they can do amazing things. They just do them in a different way. And that's the
Correct.
really awesome part, is sometimes we get stuck in our process and say, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah,
Right.
whatever. You could just do it in a different way. You just have to get a little more creative. And that's the wonderful part of seeing the adaptation or adaptive side to cognitive issues, is
Mhm.
give it the room to decide where it can go and what it can be. Don't rule things
Right.
out necessarily, and don't treat it any differently. And I would never ever treat somebody talking like they're not really in the room, or talking to people like they're children or whatever. Listen, let them figure out what they can handle, what they can't. They'll let you know. Give them some feedback. Work
Sure.
through things together. Like, it's just a process.
Yeah.
So I think that's key in
Good.
things.
So I think the one thing that you hit on, and I absolutely agree, right? They're very coachable, and I think we should all be open to learning. And
Sure.
it
Always.
doesn't mean that it's the only way. It means that, look, your way could be working, but what if there's a
It's one way.
easier way to do things, right? There's more than one way to do things, right?
Always.
I was always taught there's more than one way to cut an apple.
Yes.
For years,
That's a great way to
never
say it.
really understood that, right? And I'm sure
Right.
we've all heard or something along those lines.
I like that
It's
saying. I
true.
haven't heard that saying, but I like that saying specifically because it's fun.
Right. But I mean, you think about it, right? There's more than one way to do things. does it mean that my way is the right way or the best way? No, it just means it's a way that I know how to get it done. The one thing that I will say is that people that I've met that happen to fall on the spectrum, right? They're no different from us. You know, they're humans. They are treated. They want to be treated with respect, just like you and I would. Um, but the one thing and the mentality they take is a little bit different. I've noticed, right? You said it. It's, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. The truth of the matter is, they either, when they are presented with a challenge, they are either winning and doing it, or they don't see themselves as having failed. They say, I learned how to not do it the next time.
That's
And
right.
they look at those as learning opportunities. And I think that's huge, right? You either win or you learn. And you know, so I will say that to your point that they are problem solvers, 1000% agree. They will find a way until there's absolutely no possible way it can be done before they stop.
That's right.
Um,
And I have learned from some of these people I've worked with over the years as clients and things like that. I say to people all the time, oh my God, we could learn so much from this individual. And we really could,
mhm,
because of the way they think about things and
right,
approach things, and the fact that they don't give up. And maybe because they just don't see problems in the same light as perhaps we do sometimes.
right,
So it's a bit different. And but isn't that the beauty of certain things, is perspective,
right.
different
Oh,
perspective. That's
absolutely.
what makes the world go round. So
And
I'm always looking at it like, wow, you know what? That was poignant. I'm going to keep some of this for
oh,
myself. I
absolutely.
just learned something from this individual and I
And you
love the
know,
innocence of it.
they're some of the nicest people in this. You know, yes, they're nice, but they're also the like they're probably some of the happiest people, right?
Yes.
They don't look at themselves as they have some big challenge or obstacle or hurdle they have to overcome. They
Yeah.
look at themselves as, okay, well, you do it your way. I'm going to do it my way. And if
Right.
we both succeed, great. If we don't, we'll figure it out together. You know, it's
Right.
and everybody who knows me knows I hate the saying, but it's that whole, you know, it's the truth of is you do you, and that's what they're doing. They're doing things in their way. And to my again, my buddy Potter, you know, to his credit, he's doing him. And you know what, dude? My thought is very simple. You do you, live your best life, and for me, I couldn't care less if somebody's on the spectrum or not. The idea is that you're still a human, you're still a person. You know, let's
Right.
treat you with some, you know, at least treat everybody with basic human respect and decency and dignity. Which I feel that, you know, especially now, we see a lot going on with the pandemic. We see a lot with quarantine. And you and I have talked about it
A
numerous
lot.
times, you know, of people are struggling. So if you're struggling, and let's say you're not on the spectrum, I can only imagine how my friends who are on the spectrum, what they've been going through. And it's got to be difficult, you know? Yeah, look, so, you know, so your one key takeaway, let's sum it up real quick for us. Good, bad, or indifferent, if at all, if anything. You know plenty of people that have cognitive disorders. You know plenty of people that are on the spectrum some way, somehow.
Mhm.
Good, bad, indifferent, simple yes or no. Would you change anything that has happened to you, those people that you have meeting in the sense of the people you have met along your journey in life? Would you have changed that in any way, shape, or form if you could go back and do it again?
Never.
You think it's made you a better person today?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So look, and I agree. I think that we meet people for a reason. Amy and
Absolutely.
I, you know, we were all connected in our group here within this
Yeah,
company
for
for a
sure.
reason. And you know, one thing that I've wholeheartedly believe, blood doesn't make you family, right? Your family are the people who are there for you when you are down at the lowest of the low, but they're
Yep.
also there to celebrate with you the highs. So blood
Yep.
is not just family. It's your family is whoever you want.
Mhm.
So look, all that said, I'm glad that we were able to expand on that a little bit more, um, because I think it's important for everyone, right? It's
I do.
I, I'm not going to go back and change what I did. If I could do it all over again, I want to change one thing. I love the people that I've met. You know, those who I talk to still regularly, they know who they are. Those who we can pick up the phone after 5 years and say, "Hey, how's it going? Great, awesome. I'm in town. Great." And like nothing's ever, you know, like we haven't missed a beat. And then there's some, you know, look, things happen, life happens, but we all know that we were all in some way, shape, or form in each other's lives. You know, I'm not going to change. I think that the people I've met have made my life better. So I will say that. All that being said, Amy, thanks for joining us. Congratulations. We know you closed on your house recently. So good job. Have fun. We'll be over there soon. Housewarming party at Amy's. Y'all bring the food and the beer. And she claims she's going to beat everybody at cornhole. we're yet to see it, but
wait and see. We're gonna have the YMHA Cornhole Championship over at my house. It's gonna happen.
let's just throw it out there. Amy's not winning that. If any of us have any say in that, Amy's not going to win that. So, you know, that being
What we
said,
need to hear from the audience is what punishment are we gonna put Vinny through when he eats those words? What do you guys want to see? Are we gonna ice bucket Vinny? What?
look, if I handle
What are we doing to Vinny? Are we shaving Vinny's eyebrows off? We need to know.
Let's
We
shave
need you
that
guys
off.
to comment on this post.
That being said, there you go. Look, guys, we're looking forward to all the fun we're about to have with Amy at her house. You know, she has definitely helped all of us out to have a place where we can go and barbecue and do our have some fun with our
It's gonna be
videos.
great. I'm so excited.
So are we. So look, on that note, Amy, thanks for joining. We'll see you guys again soon. Guys, until then, stay safe.